We are back with
Oh,
another
yes.
book review. Are you even surprised at this point? I have a really bad habit, honestly, of requesting books on NetGalley, getting them ahead of time, and then procrastinating because your girl has executive dysfunction and not filming, editing, or uploading the video until like the week before it's published. And that is a problem because your girl wants to be on top of the game. She wants to be like, hey, look, I reviewed this book and now it's coming out like months later. Look how ahead of the game I am. But here we are with a book that's coming out next month. Hopefully this video is up before then. I'm filming it. It is January 18th. Anyways, not the point of this video. The book I really want to talk to you about today is called... Why am I looking at you like you're supposed to know? Okay, brain fart. I just want to preface this by saying I know I'm in a different filming setup. I really wanted to use the sunlight that I had left for the day in hopes that I would have some better lighting. We'll see how it turns out. If not, I'll go back to my filming setup I have in my little filming room. Which I might just go do that right now. Because the sun behind this tree, we're having like a windstorm here in Oregon, and it's just not working for me right now. The book we will be talking about today is called Queen of Faces by Petra Lord. This is a dark fantasy with body swapping magic, political tension, and really thoughtful queer representation. And honestly, I enjoyed this book way more than I expected. So let's get into the book. This story follows... Let's get back into it. This story follows Annabelle Gage, whose body is literally rotting from the inside out. In this world, bodies called chassis are something the wealthy can buy, swap, and discard like designer clothes. Anna does not have that privilege, and when she fails the entrance exam to Paragon Academy, her last hope of legally escaping her failing body is gone. Out of desperation, Anna steals a new chassis and immediately gets caught by the headmaster of the academy, who gives her an ultimatum: execution or become a mercenary that works for him. From there, the story spirals into political unrest, rebellion, and a morally gray fight for survival. Okay, moving on to things I loved. Honestly, what truly truly pulled me into this book was Annabelle herself and just her internal monologue. She is such a compelling protagonist, flawed, desperate, angry, and determined in a way that felt very real. Her internal conflict around survival versus morality was honestly one of my favorite parts of the story, and I got pretty emotionally invested in her very early on in the book. She is not your perfect hero, and I think that's another thing I really appreciated. The book constantly asks whether survival justifies the choices she is making, and it never gives an easy answer. Another huge highlight for me about this book were the magic and world building. The ideal of a body as a commodity was so unsettling, but in the best way. And I also loved how the story explored different chassis and identities. One of the most interesting elements I found in this book was the concept of one pith, aka your soul, sharing two bodies, aka chassis, which added so much depth to the themes of autonomy, identity, and ownership. It never felt gimmicky. It felt intentional and woven into the emotional core of the story. I also really loved the queer representation. It felt really natural, thoughtful, and deeply tied to the body swapping mechanics of this world rather than just tacked on. The way queerness was explored through different bodies and identities was genuinely refreshing. I honestly also loved all the supporting characters, especially the band of misfits that Anna ends up working with. I loved the tension, the shifting loyalties, and the way the story constantly blurred the line between villain and hero. Okay, overall thoughts, final thoughts, end of this video thoughts. Overall, Queen of Faces is a dark, imaginative fantasy with strong character work, compelling themes, and a world that feels both brutal and believable. It balances action with deeper questions about identity, bodily autonomy, and what survival really costs. If you enjoy morally complex fantasy, queer inclusive stories, and protagonists who live in a gray area, mentally and literally, I would definitely recommend checking this one out or adding it to your TBR very soon.
Oh, wow!